morning, shalom, shalom. It's been a while since I've made a video. I had a few people calling me and asking me what's going on, and we've just been in a state of study and learning right now. And I got a lot of things I'm trying to put together to share. We just had the ending of the Feast of Matzah and or unleavened bread, and we also had Passover before that, and Pesach. And so we had a very intimate gathering, mainly just our family and a few friends that wanted to come. They asked if they can come, and we just, made it what it was supposed to be. A celebration of the resurrection of our Savior, his death and his resurrection, because we can never put them apart. As far as we focus on the crucifixion and the death, we always must mention the fact that though he went through all that, the power of his resurrection is what freed us and gives us the ability to be resurrected in that time when it comes. But moving past that, we're counting down, and now we're getting ready for a Sukkot's going to be coming up towards October, and it's one of my favorites. So we'll have some stuff out there for that when that time gets closer. But for now, I wanted to just talk about something that I've been learning, something that the Father was impressing on me to talk about. So something that I've been talking to men my age, men younger than me, young men. They've been asking me some things, and I've been trying to give them some guidance, because there's a lot of people out there that need help and they need guidance, and they're trying to figure out their place in this earth and how to succeed. And some young men growing up without a mentor, without a father, and they need direction. And so I'm trying to direct them in the best way that I know how, and pass on and impart into them some of the knowledge that I've been blessed with, that my Father has given me through his scriptures, guiding me to people who have done studies in different fields of different psychology, different aspects of physics, and just a bunch of different things, and health, and the way the brain works, the patterns in the brain, the way it's formed. And there's some very interesting things that have come out lately, and some studies that have been done. And so I was talking to a few men, and I was telling them, some of these young men, they're living their life as they're single men, and they're living their life out there very vicariously. They have girlfriends or a girlfriend, or they're living with one another. They're not married. They're still learning, or trying to do the best that they can. And so when they come to me, and the first thing I tell them, well, it would have been better for you to have not been with this girl and not live with her and not be having a sexual relation with her until you were married. That's the best scenario. That way, the feelings and just a lot of things that come up. And of course, it's against the word of Elohim. But going even beyond that, getting to the core of why these things happen and what's going on. I was talking to one young man, and a couple young men, and they're aspiring for greatness in business and entrepreneurship, and looking for their would-be wife later on in the future, and different things. And so what I was guiding them is, some of them were in sports, and so what I was telling them that is, if the way the body works for the man, the way the brain works, the physical body, your muscle structure, the way you pattern your your subconscious, your conscious mind, how they're tied together, and how they interact with the things that we do, we see, and we hear. Oh wow, this guy right here just swerved right in front of me, so slow down here. This guy's trying to react. There we go. All right, always being ready. But anyway, so I had a conversation with them about, and if you have small children watching this, you might want to watch the video first before you let them watch it. Teenagers and below, you want to make sure you're watching what they watch, listening to what they're listening to, and even on these videos, because I'm going to talk about a adult subject. Well, I mean, not just adult, but for young men and young women. But I'm going to talk about masturbation. Okay, and pornography. And so I was listening to a couple of mentors of mine, and they're talking about certain things. Now, there's one person I listen to in particular. He's a multi-billionaire, and first thing that he does when he takes young men in and he trains them, as he tells them, if you decide to make that choice to be married and to marry a woman, you must be faithful to her, and you must be faithful to the children, because that's a choice that you made. And now you must honor your choice. You must honor yourself and love yourself enough to protect the choice that you made, and that being having a wife and having children. And so it's very interesting that they're very super wealthy. Most of them have a very high status of morals, because they understand that those morals, that moral fence that you encompass around you, protects not only your estate but your family and your character, protects your name, it protects your heart. And you'll be surprised that a lot of these people have built their financial wealth off of biblical principles. And so that's where I've caught some of the things that they're saying, like, hey, that's in the Bible. So I went back and I'm starting to look at what they're studying, and I try to meet these people and starting to find out that they're establishing biblical truths in their life, and not just a spiritual thing, but it's a very physical thing, and it's drove them to prosperity beyond measure. And it's just amazing the things that they understand, the things that they know, the psychology that they found out, in the science behind certain things, and the anatomy of the body. Especially for young men. It works both ways for women and men, but let me get to because I was talking to young men. I don't talk to young women about this. That's something that my wife or other ladies need to do. But I was talking to these young men. I was trying to explain to them the science behind all of this, and how masturbation and pornography actually does something very, very bad to the body of a man. And I'll get to the women in a little bit, but as far as the pornography, it actually physically alters the brain. So if you see a brain and it's, it has certain grooves in it, those are paths, neuron paths, and different things for different connections to be made and different things to happen for your brain to communicate and tell the body what to do. Now, when you watch pornography, and they've done the scientific studies, it's like taking a fork and carving into the brain and making paths that are not supposed to be there. And it starts blocking out certain patterns, it starts interrupting certain patterns, the things that are supposed to be there, and it messes you up. And you start walking around in a cloud, you start thinking bad about yourself. It causes a lot of stuff. It can even bring yourself to almost to suicide, because of the way the brain is being affected. It's very, very detrimental to the human brain when you're watching this stuff. And that's why the Bible warns us about what we put before our eyes. The Father knows, because He made the brain, so we know this thing. Okay, now let's go into the psychology behind this and what happens to where psychology and the physical element of the anatomy of the human body meet. Okay, so when a young man starts to watch pornography and he masturbates, the brain doesn't know the difference between reality and something that's fake on TV or in front of a screen or on your phone, wherever the heck you're watching the stuff at. And so it's registering in your body that you're having sexual intercourse with these women, and woman after woman after woman and after woman. And so your body, your brain is telling your body you have a harem of women that you have procreated with and may have brought children into the world. And so your body's programmed to bring in children into the world. That's why we have that attraction, a beautiful attraction of that sexual pleasure that human bodies are meant to have between a husband and a wife. And that's why we have people on this earth. Without the desire that the Father put in us, Elohim, God put in us, we wouldn't be here. And so sex is not a bad thing. It's just got to be something that's used the proper way and for the proper reason. And one reason is to bring in children, and the other is to bring a husband and a wife really close together and to enjoy each other and to explore that beautiful thing of sex that the Father has given them, and to discover all those things together, and to really be unified. That two flesh becoming one, the Bible talks about. Like I said, it's an adult subject, so if you're offended by it, you need to grow up, because this is something that we all go through. You wouldn't be here listening to this if it wasn't for sex. Just think about it. Okay, so as I talk to these young men, I'm telling them two things happen. You can be very young, you can be 17, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, and you have a testosterone level of a man that's 50 or 60 years old. And so your body stops making testosterone. That means it's not going to build muscle as fast. You're not going to lose weight as fast. Your brain's not going to think clearly. It's not going to think of how to succeed and how to have determining factors of your life to drive yourself to succeed in something, because your brain is telling your body you already have a bunch of children out there. You've conquered the world, and you have a harem of women that adore you and love you and that have given themselves to you. That's what your brain is telling your body, so it stops making testosterone at such high levels. And so that's why you have a lot of young men that have been looking at this perversion and have been doing acts of perversion, and now it's tearing them up physically and mentally, and they find themselves in a very weakened state. They're no longer no longer masculine men. They no longer have that drive or even that that nature of a man to rise up and stand up for their children and their wife, and even put his life on the line for them, because he has how can I say it? He took the manhood away from himself. And like I said, you have a 20-year-old man that has the testosterone level of a 50-year-old man, and that's very, very bad, very bad. It's unhealthy. It's psychologically, he is unstable. He cannot defend himself or his family the way he's supposed to. He cannot think clear and envision the life that he wants for his family, and how to press forward and strive through things, to do whatever it takes to get there. All those things are lost because of this perversion that's out there, and so easy to be given to anybody who has a phone, a laptop, a computer. Yeah, all these things. I always said this: if somebody's giving you something for free, you better be careful. I don't care if it's health insurance. I don't care if it's pornography on whatever kind of apparatus you have, food, whatever it is. If it's free, you better check it real good and make sure what's behind it, what's going on behind it. You know what's really going on here. And so we need to teach our children this, and for the women, for the young ladies, the same thing happens to the brain. The same thing happens to the brain, and then they start feeling very self-conscious about themselves. Oh, I don't look like those girls, and it goes both for both men and women. And looking at these people that are fake, number one, a lot of them have been altered. They've had surgically been altered, and so our brains are perceiving something as reality that's fake. And then our body and our mind start to think bad about yourself, and you cannot succeed. A woman cannot love her husband the right way unless she can love herself first. And the same thing for the husband. The husband can never love his wife and his children the way he's supposed to unless he knows how to love himself first. And this is man, we really got to understand who we are. That last video that I made was talking about us being made in the image of Elohim, and stop condemning ourselves and we're sinful and we're like snakes and vipers and animals. And no, we're not. We need to think higher than that, and we need to make sure that we're watching everything that comes into this temple. Whether it's through the eyes or through the ears, through the touch, through the smell, through the imagination. We need to cast down those high imaginations, those high things as fast as they come in, and replace them with something good, something delightful, something holy, something righteous. And so if you have an addiction, because pornography and sex can become an addiction, just like drugs and alcohol is an addiction. And there's people who are addicted to work. There's the human body is going to be addicted to something. So in order to and you can look at the studies on addiction. In order to beat an addiction, say alcohol or drugs, you can't just not do it. It has to be replaced with a different addiction in order for it to stick, in order for the other one to diminish, in order for the other one to disappear and not be part of who you are anymore. And so if you get addicted to studying, reading, building business, studying the Bible, constant prayer life, fasting, helping other people, whatever, good work ethic, working out, getting fit, eating right, those are good addictions to have. That will pull you away from the addictions that are destroying you. You know, I have to like break away from certain things in my life. You know, sometimes I was reading and studying too much and not taking care of my physical body, and in the end, it's not going to just be me that pays for it. It's going to be my wife and my children having to take care of a sick old man later on in years. I need to do the best that I can to take care of myself so that I can lessen the burden on them as I get older and be as healthy as I can. That's something that I had to make a choice and say, you know what, I got to create a new habit, or bring up an old habit I used to have but under control and not for the wrong reasons. You know, I work out and I try to watch what I eat to be fit and healthy, not for vain. Oh, look at me, I'm buff, look at me, everybody. No, I'm not because of that. But I'm a married man, you know, I have children, and I'm trying to do the best I can to raise them. It's not about vanity, it's about being healthy and looking out for their future and my future as we all grow old together. And you know, very selfish. It would be very selfish of me not to take care of my body and my health. And that goes for all the rest of you parents that are out there, and grandparents. You know, you need to do the best you can for your children and grandchildren's sake. Watch what you put in your mouth. You know, pull away from the table. Stop with all the soda and the sugars and the breads and the pastas. Slow down. Eat more vegetables. Eat the stuff the Father has growing out of the ground, because that's what we're supposed to put in our body. You know, slow down the intake of meat. I'm not in any way any kind of vegetarian or vegan. I'm very much a vegan. I love meat. Okay, I love a good steak. Okay, but so we can't eat it all the time. That's how you get gout and all kinds of other stuff, horrible things. But if we have the diet that the Bible has given us, and we watch how much we eat, how much we're taking in, and do things the right way, you know, eat the vegetables and the fruit and drink clean, clear water, you know, it's really good for your body. Go out for a walk. Just walk out in the sun, you know, for at least an hour a day. These are studies that have been done. It helps your mind. You're not. It can bring you out of a state of depression. It builds up your lungs, your muscles. It's really good for you. At least just to walk outside, looking at things far away, and letting the sun hit on you for at least an hour a day. It's very, very good for you. And then working out for at least a half hour, you know, every 3-4 days a week. You know, it's good for you. And of course, you know, 90% of health is in the kitchen, what you eat, you know. So try to do the best you can. What you read, what you study. You're reading foolishness, you're watching foolishness, you know, some entertainment's good, but not constant. You got to replace those things with you know, my thing is, you know, you should open your Bible every morning, read something out of the Bible. You know, even if it's 2-3 verses, the power behind 2-3 verses of the word of Elohim is uncomparable. Nothing could compare to it in this world that's ever been written. You know, and you just get those 3-4 verses in and just focus on them for a while. You know, it'll do so much good for you. But you do 3 verses today, 3 verses tomorrow, that's 6 verses, and on and on and on. That compound, ever hear about compound interest? It adds up, and sooner or later, you're going to have so much word and so much good seed that's been planted inside of you. One day it will grow. And sometimes it'll grow overnight when you really need it. When you need it the most. You remember something you read, something you studied, something the Father showed you, something the Ruach, the Holy Spirit is like, remember when you read this? And it starts teaching you certain things that you've read there. You can do all these things. You can be as great as you can be. We need to study the human body that the Father has given us. This beautiful creation, we're wondrously and mysteriously made, the Bible says. What a mystery it is. We need to be careful what we put in front of us. Now, I'm talking about bad things and how it's bad for our brain and our body. But how about if we put the good things in front of us? What does it do to the brain? What does it do to the body? It stimulates it. It strengthens it. It focuses it. I mean, you can, and things start to change. Things get brighter. Your ideas, your creative power starts to come in. You start to be connected to people in the world that will lead you in ways that you never thought. The Father starts to work something in you. And that's the path that I'm on right now. And the Father's been teaching me some things and putting me in front of great people that have established themselves and created great inheritance for their family and for their children, their children's children. And you know, it's because right now it's not about me. It is and it's not. It's about me because it needs to be about me so it can be about my children and my children's children, so that when they have something to hold on to as they grow up and say, I remember what my grandfather taught, I remember what my grandfather did, and look what he left us. What are we going to do with this gift that he's given us? And what are we going to do with the gift that the Father has given all of us? This gift called life. The best gift you can give back to him is what you do with this thing called life. This beautiful blessing that he's given us. Never take your life for granted. You only have one. You only have one. I don't care what these people, all this incarnation and reincarnation and all this stuff that's going on. Man, put that stuff aside. You have one life. The Bible says that a man, that it is destined for a man to die once. Okay? You have one life here on this earth in this body. And then we have the world to come. So that's our spiritual body that's going to be beyond us. The real reality will kick in, and that's a whole other subject. But we'll be in the kingdom with our Father. And I don't know about you, but I want to do everything I can for him. And tell him, look, I tried, Father, to do the best that I can. And the potential that we have as children of the Elohim and as human beings is, I haven't seen anybody reach that status, the fullness of the potential that he's given us. He came down here in flesh and he showed us the greatness that we can be. And he said something very peculiar, very interesting, very strong, very hard to swallow. But he said, you shall do greater things than I. But we don't believe that we're destined for greatness. We don't believe that we can make our dreams come true. We don't believe that we can succeed in any avenue or any field that we endeavor into. We need to have the faith and believe in what he said. He said, you shall do greater things than I. You know, we are inheritors of the inheritance of Abraham. It says that if you live a righteous life, the blessings will overcome you. And we need to really believe that. And if you're living a life of sin, well, then it's really going to be really hard for you to believe that. If you're living a life of deceit and deceitfully using the word of Elohim to bring the money out of the pockets of the innocent people, you'll have a price to pay. But don't hope and believe that your blessings are coming, because you're handling the people of Elohim and his word the wrong way. You snake, you viper, you wolf in sheep's clothing. I don't mince more words with that, because there's something there that is very foul and very evil that has cloaked itself in a white robe of righteousness, and it's not real, it's not true. And I don't believe, I believe a man can work and be very wealthy and be very rich. And he did it the right way, morally right, biblically, properly, the right way. But when they're doing it the wrong way and they're using the Bible and they're using the people for their own self-gain, that's one of the most horrible things that a person can do. Because they're too lazy to go out and work. They're too lazy to study and do things for themselves. And you see a lot of you've seen it. You've seen a lot of these men out there. They got 4 or 5 private jets and acres of land and homes and all kinds of stuff. And you got people sitting inside their churches or their tabernacles or their mishpachos, whatever you want to call it, their gatherings. People sitting in there that are suffering and having a hard time just buying food for their children and buying diapers for the children. Something went wrong, and somebody's doing something wrong, and somebody will pay for that. I try to give out as much information as I can for free through these channels, just to help people that I know that need help. For someone to have somebody they can go to say, what do I do in this situation? How do I get through this? And all of you that have been through something, the Father has brought you out of it. You need to use that testimony and help those that are around you. He didn't go through it just for you. He didn't bring you out of it just for you. He did it to help other people, other children, other young men and women, other people that are around you, other family members, other people he's bringing into in your pathway of life, so you can help them and give them a glimpse of hope that they too can come out of what they're in. So it's going on a little long in this video, but I'm trying to help people, and I'm trying to do the best I can to study as much as I can. You should be reading 4 or 5 books a week, and I'm not exaggerating. You can do it. I work full time, and the Father has blessed me to be able to do that, and to pull out the wisdom and the things that I can pull out to give to others. The hours of study that I've done, I can just give it to others, and without any regret. It's like, here, brother, here, sister, take this. This will help you. This will help you. So, please pass on this information. If you're not subscribed to the channel. We'll have more stuff coming. And when I say we, it's because my wife helps me with certain things, to understand certain things, and I learned this from my children and from other brothers and sisters too. It's not just me. And of course, from my Father and from the Ruach and from the biblical principles that He has given us. So stay great, stay blessed because you are. Shalom, shalom, and have a good day. And lead others to this channel. Somebody needs to help them out. All right? Shalom, shalom.